high cost of living in Ley City, Baruni Dump to use world-class waste disposal system, and SP hunters to aim higher in 2015.
This is the National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
Good evening and welcome to Monday's news. As development grips the second largest city in Papua New Guinea, ordinary people still feel the pinch of the high cost of living. It's the same in all other parts of the country. Most people in Ley say that the cost of housing remains expensive, while the tax on goods and services make them barely affordable. Bethany Harriman reports from the country's industrial hub.
A Papua New Guinean family unit, mother, father and child carrying empty containers walking along the Ley's Bumbu Hunter Road. They have been collecting them to go and sell to make at least 20 kina for the evening meal. They don't want to be filmed and turn around giving their back toward the camera. Their story is similar to that of many others around the city. Goods and services costs remain expensive. Housing rentals continue to affect middle-income earners, forcing them to settlements.
Accommodation long settlement side na this area.
On the 17th of February, I met Tony Oreo, smashing cans at the side of Ley's Hewen Road. Tony spoke about how he survived on selling empty cans.
15 kina. Na sambla misa kisino 10 kina. Misa mige mose.
On that same day, a Ley family living on 5th Street also talked about the high cost of living.
So goods, taxes, almost everything is in tax.
Though development is happening, job opportunity comes to a lucky few who have enough education and experience. Others continue to look for that opportunity. The rest look for means to sustain their living. Most of the city's unfortunate come from the rural areas to the hubs in search of a better life, but end up becoming part of many statistics. The growing number of the unemployed and the increasing illegal settlements. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Ley.
West New Britain Provincial Health Authority recently launched the PNG government accounting system in Kimbe. PGS is a public service standalone system which allows provinces to print their own checks. Vasinata Yama reports.
Health Minister Michael Malabag and West New Britain Governor Sasindran Muthuvel officially launched the accounting system last Friday. Minister Malabag demonstrated a system printing 1 million kina dummy check and presented it to the Provincial Health Authority. With this system, they now can print their own checks with the click of a mouse in the province. PGS is one of the rollouts of the Provincial Health Authority Act 2007. The Act signifies the transfer of powers from the Department of Health to the provincial government on the rural health services to one body, the Provincial Health Authority. It is a reform that hopes to address the problems of poor health indicators the country is facing. Provinces that have already established PHAs and uses PGS are Western Highlands, Eastern Highlands and Malimbay. It was also trialled in East Sepik and Manus, but they have infrastructure shortages. However, Kimbe Provincial Health Authority's aspect is not materialized yet.
Although the tangible aspects of PHA sidelong board, we must talk clear some looks however clear, it's not actually materialized yet. And that's something that the board is working on, and I can assure you, Honorable Minister, Secretary, we are on top of, although it will take time, but we will get there.
They need support of the National Health Department to ensure provincial health authorities' processes are rolled out so that it becomes visible and achievable. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News, Kimbe.
West New Britain Governor Sasindran Muthuvel is calling on the government to grant 4 more districts to the province. He says the province has a huge population and geographical landmass which supports the idea to have 6 districts. Vasinata Yama with this report.
The governor's call concerns service delivery in the province and the disadvantages of insufficient provincial and district support improvement program grants. The district of Thalassia, having more than 230,000 people living in a scattered, huge geographical location, and Kendry and Gloucester have no road connection and depends mainly on sea transport. Governor Muthuvel said the PSIP and DSIP funds are calculated depending on the number of districts a province has.
Of course, we have some disappointments, Minister, that we are not very happy that when government removed or reduced these LLG SIP funds. I think we should reinstate, because LLG is a government on itself. They should also deliver services within local level, government level.
Although attempts were made for them to have more districts, the Electoral Commission boundary report has not been acknowledged and approved by past governments. Governor Muthuvel said, although West New Britain province produces more revenue to the government through oil palm, little money is received. He also said no big development impact is seen in the 10 million Kina PSIP fund received.
Now this is like 10 million too, you come up one time, this is like guidelines. Blow ORD, lo takol 2 million igolo health, na 2 million igolo education, na 3 million lo infrastructure, na 1 million golo law and order, na 1 million golo economic activities.
Governor Muthuvel urged the government to allocate funds according to the population, geographical marks, and the difficulties in service delivery. He said all these factors have to be differentiated so that the people receive the level of service delivery that they deserve. Vasina Tayama, National EMTV News, Kimbe.
Telecom PNG has pledged to support the government in the rollout of the National Identification Project. Telecom is partnering with Huawei and Daytech to deliver this government initiative. The company's Chief Executive Officer, Michael Donnelly, in a statement, said the company will make use of the existing partnership with the Department of Communication and Information. National Planning Department will administer the project through investments in the Integrated Government Information System project. The CEO also announced that Telecom, Daytech and Huawei are aiming to achieve Phase 1 and hope to complete outstanding works with similar arrangements. The NID project was launched by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill in Southern Highlands recently. Meanwhile, the Papua New Guinea National Identification Publicity Team has commenced awareness on the ID system in schools in Yalibu, Southern Highlands Province. This followed numerous consultations with Education Advisor Waria Paita. A memorandum of understanding was also signed between the Christian churches of PNG and the NID team to carry out the awareness on the project.
Following its launch on February 23rd, at least 10 primary, secondary and vocational schools participated in the awareness program. They include Yalibu and Pangia Secondary, Muli Primary and Walyu Market. Project officers say the joint awareness by both the NID project team and churches in Southern Highlands paves a positive outcome of the implementation stage. Though the ID system is optional, everyone is encouraged to register because of the benefits that come with it. Once registered and given a national ID card, card holders can use their cards to open bank accounts or when traveling. The card is also predicted to be a useful item once the government introduces the pension for the old. Last month, a service level agreement was signed between the National Statistical Office and Post PNG for the transportation of the NID project equipment out of Port Moresby. Provincial police officers will also be assisting the team for security operations in each province. Meanwhile, Manus and Milne are two of the next provinces to undergo the NID registration. Taklagunga, National EMTV News.
Now, on tonight's EMTV News special report, we'll give you an insight into the new Baruni Dump that uses a world-class waste disposal system. The Baruni Dump was established in the 1980s, but there was no proper system to ensure a sustainable lifespan, which caused real environmental and social hazards. In 2011, the National Capital District Commission, the Japanese government and relevant counterparts commenced with the revamp of Baruni Dump. What used to be a scrapyard with no proper dumping systems is fast becoming a revolutionized sanitary landfill. Tokana Hasavi with this special report.
When you finish your meal at a food bar or restaurant, you take your leftovers and you throw it in the litter bin. Then you casually walk away and you don't think about that waste again. On rubbish pickup days in your neighborhood, you take your garbage and you put it by the streets. Local workers pick up the contents and dump it into a big truck and tow it away. Now, you don't have to think about that waste again either. But perhaps you have wondered, as you watch the big truck pull away, just where that garbage ends up. Baruni Dump. It's the final resting place for most of Port Moresby's solid waste. And it used to look like this 2 years ago. It had absolutely no sanitary systems or sustainable plan to ensure its longevity. But today, its name has been changed to the Baruni Sanitary Landfill, and you can see why. What used to be an unsystematic area of environmental and social hazards is changing into a world-standard landfill. Amano Shiro from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency is the chief advisor of the Baruni Revamp project.
The issue is not recognized before, but I think for the last 10-15 years, most of the countries in the region put it as a priority issue.
NCDC's Waste Management Manager, Joshua Sam, says the Baruni Revamp couldn't have come at a better time.
Port Moresby is going through rapid growth and expansion. The project itself is a 12 million kina project, and that will be fully funded by the Commission.
In 2012, the Baruni Dump ingested an estimated weight between 27,000 and 50,000 tons of solid waste per year. Today, according to NCDC's Baruni project engineer, James Rickey, that estimated mass has increased 4 times over and now takes in over 200,000 tons per year.
It is projected that in 15 years' time we will produce 300-400 tons of rubbish every day, and that is too much for this dump site.
The Baruni Sanitary Landfill adopts a system that is used in Japan, a system called the semi-aerobic landfill type, or commonly tagged as the Fukuoka method. The name takes after Fukuoka City in Japan.
And so the Fukuoka method basically employs or is made up of pipes underneath the pile of rubbish, and those pipes are known as leachate pipes, and they are perforated, they've got holes.
Rubbish breakdown through chemical reactions, the production of leachate, which is the black liquid from garbage, and landfill gas that contains 40 to 60% methane will be managed through this system.
As a result, 2 things are formed, carbon dioxide and a liquid called leachate. And so the carbon dioxide escapes through the venting pipes that we will be installing, and the leachate flows back into the leachate pipe and eventually down into the leachate pond.
According to the city's current rate of solid waste, this rectangular crater, known as a cell, will absorb over 400,000 cubic meters of rubbish for 5 years when it's completed. But the need for more land is vital. NCD's population has grown from about 4,000 in 1946 to close to 1 million today. This growth, combined with a rapid increase in public and commercial infrastructure, requires an expansion of this landfill.
Our city, Port Moresby, is experiencing population increase, and like we've never seen before, and that is adversely affecting our landfill.
There's a submission that we are trying to put to the next land board, and we've got a number of landowners who have come forward who are willing to work with us on acquiring the additional piece of land to expand the landfill.
The main purpose and biggest challenge of the revamped Baruni Sanitary Landfill is to contain the rubbish so it doesn't cause problems in the environment like it once did. The revolutionary system it uses now prevents rubbish from coming in contact with the outside soil and, more importantly, groundwater. Phase 1 of this 12 million kina project, which includes cells 1 and 2, is expected to be completed by the end of this year. Tokana Hasavi Jr., National EMTV News.
Maprik Hospital in ECPIC facing shortage of staff and increase in patient numbers. That story among others after the break. Welcome back to the news. Maprik Hospital in ECPIC province is faced with a manpower crisis. Nursing officers are struggling to deal with an increase in patient numbers. Acting Program Manager Raymond Pohonai confirmed that the problem has been ongoing and the hospital is working closely with the district administration to bring in more staff.
Dilapidated structures and a skeleton staff stand as a reminder of the challenges facing Maprik District Hospital. This has placed enormous pressure on the hospital to provide adequate patient care. Acting Program Manager of the hospital, Raymond Pohonai, says nursing officers are overworked.
Although we are down with the manpower, but the staff we have in this this hospital, we have a lot of aging, the staff aging. There's not been any recruitment over the last maybe 10, 20 years. And also the staff are facing, we're having the medical problems also. So we have very limited number of manpower. We have 2 HOs here. Previously we used to have a doctor, but now we do not have a doctor.
The hospital is in talks with the district administration and the provincial health board to bring in more doctors and nursing staff to alleviate these burdens. Vital services are also lacking at the hospital, such as pathology and dental services.
The hospital is not operating as a hospital. Most of the services are essential services like pathology, X-ray, dental sections. It's been closed. As you can see from here, that the building is just been pulled down, and it's no longer functioning now.
But there are promising signs with the redevelopment plans of the hospital in its final stages. Raymond Pohonai is optimistic about the redevelopment, adding it would be a relief to staff and patients. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
Local businesses in Maprik have been supported with equity to encourage the growth of the small to medium enterprise sector in the district. This was made possible through the National Development Bank Credit Scheme in partnership with the district administration. Maprik MP John Simon appealed to the recipients to practice a savings culture to repay the loans on time.
The small to medium enterprise sector in Maprik has experienced steady growth over the years. Locals have seized the opportunity provided by the district administration and the National Development Bank to launch their own business ventures. For starters, the district administration has assisted them with equity through the National Development Bank Credit Scheme. 10 trucks presented under this scheme were distributed to various small entrepreneurs to help them with their business. Maprik MP John Simon called for consistency in the repayment of the loan.
Look him, lo Maprik, he must got plenty businessman. Mivlo must got all millionaire lo Maprik. Mivlo must got money style lo Maprik. Man lo Maprik must involve lo business.
Chairman of the Maprik Businessmen Association, Yali Nongi, is concerned about the unequal distribution of wealth throughout the district created by an uneven power supply.
Plenty of businessman, like working business, that's all. Only finding hard long working business due to lack of power.
With the 500 kVA generator installed, he challenged PNG Power to extend its services to allow everyone to participate in business opportunities. Controller of the PNG Power State of Emergency, Tom Orr, says PNG Power is committed to delivering power to all areas of the district.
If put him power, go now you create him demand. All people by looking at power, all start thinking of working business, start thinking of working classroom, school, health, all that kind of something you may need him by come up.
Maprik remains ISIPIC's leading district in terms of economic activities. An estimated 500,000 kina circulates within the district, creating a perfect hub for business activities. To maintain this, member John Simon has asked commercial banks in the area to increase lending to maintain cash flow to encourage growth of small businesses. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
The visit by the Indonesian Foreign Minister, Retno Marsudi, has reinforced calls for both countries to implement the MOA signed in 2013. During her visit, she emphasized increasing PNG-Indonesian bilateral trade and opportunities to support local businesses. Mrs. Marsudi said both countries are yet to achieve their potential in trade relations.
As of January 2015, png-Indonesia's balance of trade stands at $709 million. Indonesia's foreign minister believes there is enough room to improve bilateral trade.
We agreed to focus more on the economic cooperation as well as the people-to-people contact.
Indonesian government also wants to increase business opportunities for local businesses. During her stay in the country, she presented a shell-making grinder to PNG Women in Business President Janet Sape. Mrs. Sape, who was accompanied by another local business entrepreneur, Janet Sios, says as a local businesswoman, she sees a huge potential in the Indonesian market.
Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Foreign Minister for giving us this great gift, and we look forward to working with you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great gift by the Indonesian Foreign Minister. So thank you very much, Minister, and we look forward to more opportunities like this from other countries as well.
The Indonesian Foreign Minister says Indonesia stands ready to do business with local entrepreneurs. She further called on the two Chambers of Commerce for both countries to start implementing business avenues signed in the 2013 MOA between Indonesia and PNG immediately. Bridget Komatep, National EMTV News.
Establishing dialogue is crucial in identifying the needs of youth in the country. The National Youth Development Authority, through its regional youth consultation workshop, is working towards building that dialogue with its stakeholders. It recently ended its third leg of regional consultations in Keviang for the New Guinea Islands region.
With many youths living on the margins of society and trying to make ends meet every day, efforts are now being made to address this growing concern. The National Youth Development Authority, tasked with improving youth welfare, has begun the process of dialogue with its key implementing partners. It has conducted regional workshops to identify solutions to youth problems. Speaking during the NGI Regional Youth Consultation Workshop, First Secretary of the Department of Religion, Youth and Community Development, Tony Walwal, stressed the importance of youths as a vital national asset. Contents of discussion include the funding of 165 positions by NYDA within the provincial districts and LLGs. This is aimed at improving NYDA's role at all levels to alleviate the daunting task experienced in improving the lives of youths. The Southern Regional leg of the consultation workshop will be held this week in Milne Bay Province. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
Lay City youth leaders are being groomed to be role models in their peers in their respective communities. The training conducted by the National Youth Development is focused on young people displaced by the education system in the country. With this training, the National Youth Development Authority hopes youth in Lay will have a new lease of life.
In a city where crime is a daily occurrence, avenues are being created to foster youth development. Leadership training carried out by the National Youth Development Authority is crucial to transforming the lives of unemployed youths. 23 ward presidents from Lay's Youth Council and the Ahi Youth Council participated in a leadership training organized by NYDA. The training, a first for PNG, aims at equipping them with strong organizational structure and compliance skills that are key ingredients to quality leadership.
The capacity of how they can establish themselves and run effective programs in the respective wards and in the district.
The training is part of the NYDA's role in developing a workable platform to assist many school leavers pushed out of formal education. NYDA believes empowering youth at the district and the provincial levels builds their profile in their community and allows them to integrate in the affairs of their peers. Participants were grateful for the training and feel prepared to implement the knowledge gained in their respective communities.
Yang Plaman, yang Plameri, only stop number coaching olsem, only losing school education law le marre olsem, no can stop now can work in managing the life long. So time come in sala this training, me look at me helping me. So time go back out, but me can stand up strong na helping all community blow me lo. from helping mo sit down blow yang pla.
The support law kata youth in Chelo district mi plus kimus ibla masana biano display because display way forward me now. He got light now in stable tunnel where you looking finish now. Ibla mangi come support na imi push him so that government me member me governor me all the leader man me lo morobe all the stakeholders lo morobe lay district ibla looking this plan ibla come na support me plan pushing forward the minimizing all the youth related issues inside the community district province na country as a whole.
Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
And now a look at the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3785 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3710 $0.4722 Australian dollars, $0.3280 euro, and 44.09 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, copper and cocoa closed higher, coffee closed lower, crude oil closed higher, copper closed lower, and palm oil closed the day unchanged. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed at 82 points lower, the ASX closed at 30 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 28 points higher. Stories making headlines overseas when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, and Australia, Malaysia and India are testing a new method for tracking planes over remote areas. Aircraft will be checked every 15 minutes as opposed to the current system of about 30 to 40 minutes. The announcement comes a week before the first anniversary of MH370 that disappeared on March 8 last year. The plane lightly plunged into the ocean, and if it is ever found, one company is planning on how to recover it.
While the search continues for MH370 in the depths of the southern Indian Ocean, a team of mechanical engineers is already planning for the next crucial step. This is an ROV, a remotely operated underwater vehicle, cutting-edge technology normally used in the oil and gas industry.
It flies like an underwater helicopter, and it really takes the capability of a diver and puts it into a machine.
But if and when MH370 is finally located, this could be the device that will be used to retrieve the wreckage and those vital black boxes, hopefully with the answers as to what went so terribly wrong.
The MH370 is a challenge like no other. It's a unique challenge in the world at the moment. There is very little reference material that we can use to know what you would find and what the technology is going to need to do.
The only test case that comes close is Air France 447 back in 2009 that crashed in the Atlantic Ocean with 228 people on board. While authorities knew where it hit the water, it took nearly 2 years to recover the black boxes at around 4,000 metres below the surface. The depth of the search area for MH370 is deeper still at 4,500 metres. But there are sections that drop away to 6,000 metres and it's rugged terrain.
It's easy to imagine an aeroplane sitting nicely on a seabed down in deep water, but the reality could be very much different. It's that dynamic range of what does the debris field look like, what does the seabed look like, that is still basically an unknown for us.
The Australian government has already invited an expression of interest for the recovery of MH370, preparing for the day when the wreckage is finally found. Among the requirements, retrieving the debris, the all-important cockpit voice and flight data recorders, as well as human remains from the ocean floor. Paul Coley's company TMT Sapura Kenchana, based in Perth, is one of many vying for the multi-million-dollar contract. But the significance of this job goes far beyond its monetary value.
Nobody expects to step on an aeroplane and not step off again safely at the other side. If we can learn from what's discovered, then that's going to make the world a safer place, and it's going to allow people to properly grieve and move forward with their lives.
An overwhelming need for the families who just want to put their loved ones to rest.
A Moscow opposition rally turned into a morning march in the wake of the shocking murder of opposition leader Boris Nemtsov just steps away from the Kremlin. He was supposed to lead the rally, criticizing Russia's policies on Ukraine.
Thousands of people marched through the streets of Moscow to remember Boris Nemtsov and to mourn him as well. The investigation in this case is also moving forward. The police now appear to have gone away from the theory that Nemtsov was walking on the bridge when a car stopped next to him and the woman that he was walking with, that someone shot out of the car and then drove away. The new theory appears to be, and this is based on surveillance video from the scene of the crime, that someone might have been stalking him on the bridge, came up, shot him, and then jumped into a getaway car. This, again, comes from cameras that are around that area, which is one of the most secure locations here in Moscow because it's right by the Kremlin and right by Red Square. Now, one of the other things that police have said today is that they no longer believe that a white vehicle that they believe to have identified is related to this case. They say that they've spoken to the owner of the vehicle and that owner has nothing to do with what happened to Boris Nemtsov. The main witness in all of that continues to be the 23-year-old model Anna Duritskaya. She was the one who was walking with Nemtsov along that bridge when he was shot. She is still here in Moscow. We hear that she is in an apartment in a secure location and that she is cooperating with authorities. The police here say they have every reason to keep her here and to continue questioning her because she is such an important witness. Now, one of the things that Russian media is reporting, they say that police have apparently put together a computer image of what the assailant might look like. It's based on eyewitness testimony, and they say that they believe that the assailant was a male who was between 1.70 meters and 1.75 meters tall. That's between about 5'6" or 5'7", that he was wearing dark blue jeans and had very short brown hair. Police say they're looking for additional eyewitnesses. They've put out a reward of 3 million rubles. It's about $50,000 for any clues that would lead to the arrest of the assailant.
Trukai Sports is next. We'll have news on boxing, rugby union and hockey. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The national boxing squad is set to depart tomorrow for a 4-week training camp on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. Sisters Rafaela and Debbie Kare, who were desperate for a spot on the team, made the cut alongside the likes of Philo MacGyver and Charlie Keama.
The boxing squad selected from the national boxing trials held in Goroka early in the year will depart for the Gold Coast tomorrow morning. The squad has been in training at the High Performance Training Centre since the trials. Going abroad and training at the Runaway Bay in Queensland, Australia will enhance the team's chances at performing well at the 2015 Pacific Games. Amongst the cut of boxers are the Kare sisters, Charlie Keama, Philo MacGyver, a handful of PNG's best bet at winning medals. The squad also features a variety of prospects for the Games, placing the Boxing Association with a difficult task of confirming fighters for the Games. The final boxing squad will be announced in May. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
After the devastating form at the 2015 HSBC Wellington Sevens, the PNG Sevens team have shown improvement in their on-field performance. The men's team secured a win in the plate finals, while the women's team struggled to score against Pacific Games Sevens Queens Samoa. MTV's Lorraine Genya with this report.
Since their poor performance at the 2015 HSBC Wellington Sevens, this weekend the PNG Sevens team responded to critics with their much improved performance at the Borneo Sevens. Now the PNG Sevens team won in the plate finals against Sri Lanka 33-7, while the Palais failed to perform against Samoa. They demonstrated signs of improvement, keeping the scoreline close, 24-19. Prior to their departure, assistant coach to the PNG Sevens, Douglas Guy, said he had every confidence in the boys performing abroad and they fulfilled expectations. The Palais, on the other hand, have another chance at improving the status quo of women's rugby in Papua New Guinea as they gear up for the Fiji Mara Sevens to be held later in the month. Last month, Silosi Druma, as a stand-in Palais coach, gave a preview of the team's calendar for the year and said he had every confidence in the team's ongoing improvement. Last year, the Sevens teams went through high performance and strength and conditioning programs, both under the ACT Brumbies and the high performance division here in Port Moresby, which boosted their performances at key tournaments. Now, this year, they are expected to perform at the Pacific Games as well as the Olympic qualifiers later on in the year. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
President of the East New Britain Rugby Football Union, Hubert Maniana, says preparations for the 2015 season are underway. There have been indications of 8 to 10 teams that will compete. However, Maniana says once clubs have confirmed and registered and operational issues should be settled in time for the annual competition to commence in 2 weeks. The province plans on commencing the year with a rollout of the 15s program and have the Sevens rugby season commence towards the end of the year. More than 100 young children in Lae City were part of the Lae Minky Development Program in the last 4 weeks. The Minky Hockey Program targeted children between the ages of 6 and 13. However, many younger children have also shown interest. Lae Hockey President Harry Kaisa says the program is aimed at developing more young talent within the Lae Hockey Association.
It was a sunny Saturday morning in Lae City, and young children have already gathered at the Lae Hockey field. For 2 hours, they were learning the skills and techniques of playing hockey and also the proper attires to wear when playing. The 6 weeks program has attracted a good interest from young kids, who are also children from families within the Lae Hockey fraternity.
It's pretty much a clinic for the little kids between 6 to about 13 years old. So we have this been running for the last 3 weeks. This is the 4th week, and we are very thankful for our sponsors.
The Minky Lae Hockey Development Program started about 7 years ago. Many of the players that came through the program have moved on to play in the senior teams and also represented Morobe and Papua New Guinea.
Quite interestingly, just this week we've had junior kids. We weren't intending to run the junior program as yet, but they've actually come as well. So we now have to separate them. So we do a Minky program for the younger kids, and then we do a junior program where we actually teach proper skills and techniques.
Lae Biscuit Company has come on board to support the program by purchasing much needed hockey equipment. The Minky Hockey program not only looks at teaching young children about hockey, but also on healthy living.
We're not just doing hockey on its own. We talk about things like smoking and chewing bit nut and how it's not good for them when they're playing hockey, all right, how it limits them.
The interest from young children has also brought on the idea of establishing a junior competition for them to participate. They are also inviting other young kids in Lae City to come along on Saturdays between 9 and 11 a.m. and be part of the fun and games. Sylvester Gawi, National EMTV Sports, Lae.
Trukai Sports continues with rugby league and soccer. That's after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The SP Hunters have been encouraged to perform in this year's Queensland Intrust Super Cup after an impressive inaugural season in 2014. Minister for Sports, Justin Chichenko, commended the team's efforts last year and has urged the SP Hunters to aim higher. In the final pre-season trial, the Hunters opened their 2015 campaign, thrashing defending Intrust Super Cup champs Northern Pride 46-24.
Missed tackles, but first try the second half.
Backing up their confidence leading into the 2015 season, the SP PNG Hunters showed promising signs for this year after earning a victory over champion club Northern Pride. This year, the Hunters have been backed by a wider player base with much new talent eager to showcase their skills.
Behind Matt Grieve and then Gary.
Sports Minister Justin Chichenko also pledged the nation's support, urging the team to do better and be better this time around. The Hunters will commence their season with an away match against South's Logan Magpies in Brisbane this Sunday. Dion Kombeng, National EMTV Sports.
Lae City Dwellers ended their final home game for round 1 on a high note with a 2-1 victory over Admiralty FC in Lae on Saturday. The Lae boys scored their first goal in the opening 10 minutes, with Admiralty equalising in the second half. Poor man markings from the Admiralty backline saw Ley scoring their winning goal in the last 7 minutes of the game. Sylvester Gawi has the wrap-up of this game from Ley.
This was their last home game for round 1, and for the Ley City dwellers, they were looking at winning in front of the home crowd. Raymond Gunemba sent in the opening goal in the first 10 minutes to put Ley in front with 1 point. Minor finishing errors from the Ley side saw the score remaining at 1-0 into halftime.
Plan is something straight. Mibla try to police map throughout the week. First game mibla draw, come lose. But since game lo, medeng after lose lakam all boys start pick up ECC. So plenty all boys like him experience. So time lakam tapes game go all pick him up momentum lo play. So I'm game plan nice result now.
Admiralty FC, led by Moravian Agi Moses, came strong in the second half. They kept Ley's backline under pressure and scored the equalizer through a corner kick. Admiralty coach Peter Sakail says they need to work on improving in the midfield to play defensively.
We need to really organize from our midfield and play defensive formation from the midfield that can hold him team stop so that we can defend well.
The Ley City dwellers scored a tiebreaker in the last 7 minutes of the game. The win records their 3rd consecutive win in round 1 before the final game against Oro FC in Port Moresby next Saturday.
We need to work big play, movement, to play midfield, distribution, some technical, passes, nice la. We play big play working them.
In the harder NSL results, Ekari United FC came strong from behind to defeat Medeng FC 2-1 at the Liverden Oval in Medeng. In the nation's capital, FC Port Moresby defeated the Besta development team 3-0. Ekari United still maintains the top spot, followed by Ley City dwellers on 2nd place. Sylvester Gawi, National EMTV Sports, Ley.
To soccer abroad now, and in the English Premier League, Chelsea claimed the first silverware, beating Tottenham 2-0. In other results, Arsenal beat Everton 2-0 as well, and Manchester City beat Liverpool 2-1. Here are the highlights.
The Citizens were undone by 2 excellent goals. Liverpool unbeaten in the league this calendar year, ahead through a fantastic Jordan Henderson strike there. And though Edin Dzeko leveled, the visitors' keeper Joe Hart could do nothing to prevent Coutinho's blockbuster late in the second half. He's on a roll. Liverpool now have 26 points from the last 30 available now in the Premier League. So from northwest England, we're headed down south to North London, where Arsenal hosted Everton. Late into the first half, Arsenal with a corner kick. Ozil would send it in and find Olivier Giroud, who hits to the back post to put the Gunners on top 1-0. So the game would stay very close until late into the match. Rosicky would get a lucky deflection on his shot. Nothing Tim Howard could do about that one. Arsenal win it 2-0. So Arsenal's victory moves them into 3rd place in the Premier League standings. Relief for them after that midweek horror show against Monaco in the Champions League.
And that wraps up our sporting news. I'll be back with the weather details.
True Kai Sports.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for tonight in the southern region, Port Moresby, cloudy with rain periods. Alotau, Kerma, Daru and Popondetta, showers. In the Momasa region, Ley, cloudy with overnight showers. A few showers expected in Madang, Wewak and Vanimore. In the New Guinea Islands, Lorengau, you can expect showers, and Kokopo, Kaviang, Kimbe, Rabaul and Buka, a few showers. And finally, in the Highlands region, all centres to expect evening showers, then morning fog. Before we go, a recap of our top stories again. High cost of living in Ley City, Baruni Dump to use world-class waste disposal system, and SP Hunters to aim higher in 2015. And that's how we end National EMTV News this Monday, the 2nd of March 2015. From the news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.